We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Mauricio Ruiz will join me in just a bit. Coming up, it's playoff time in the USL Championship. We'll make predictions on the playoff bracket. Plus, we get Becky Burleigh's thoughts on what the U.S. women's national team accomplished this month. And we hear from two stars from the Ponte Vedra girls soccer team as they begin to defend their state championship from a year ago. But we start with a furious finish to the USL Championship regular season. The USL Championship playoff field now set, but it took until the final games on the final day of the regular season to settle the final spots in the Eastern Conference. What a finish to the season, and it sets up for a remarkable postseason beginning tonight. More on that in a moment. So let's now, for our Island Wing Company USL Championship Game of the Week, instead bring you the highlights of all of the games that impacted the final playoff spots in the final weekend of the regular season. Let's get started with North Carolina. This is a team that was jockeying for position in the Eastern Conference, needing a win to improve their chances, facing Las Vegas. Headed in here by Olex Anderson Jr., who sets a new club record for career goals. NCFC wins 2-1, and they are in the 8th spot in the East. Rhode Island hosting Miami next, already up 4-0 in first half stoppage time. Miami's defense already in off-season mode. J.J. Williams, who already has 2 goals in the half, gets his 3rd. Rhode Island, a first-year club in the USL Championship, earns the 5th seed in the East. Oakland Roots hosting Birmingham. Legion needing a win and help to make the playoffs. They did their part. Preston Itaka with his 2nd goal of the match. Birmingham wins, but they fall 1 spot short. They are out of the postseason despite the final week win. Hartford also needed a win and help. Playing out west at Orange County, tied at 2 in the 86th minute. When Thomas Amon puts it away for Orange County, Hartford will be home for the month of November. Pittsburgh hosting El Paso, win, and they're in for the Riverhounds. 9th minute off the set piece. The guy who has been red hot of late, Edward Kizza with the header, his 5th straight game with a goal. Pittsburgh wins their 4th straight game overall, and they are in good form as they look to the playoffs for the 7th time. They will be the 7th seed in the East. Tampa Bay hosting Indy 11. They had to play at IMG Academy because of the storms damaging Tampa's home field. Leo Fernandez with a beautiful ball to Cal Jennings, who puts it away. Tampa wins. Rowdies are the 6th seed in the East. And finally, Charleston Battery hosting Loudoun United. Charleston will be the number 2 seed in the East. Arturo Rodriguez with a goal as the Battery wins 2 games, 2-1 rather, in that matchup. Okay, let's take a look at the schedule for the playoffs. Here's the Western Conference. You have the number 1 seed, New Mexico United, playing the late night game on Sunday against the defending champs Phoenix Rising. Elsewhere, you have the 4 seed against the 5 seed, Las Vegas Lights hosting Sacramento Republic. Colorado Springs Switchbacks host Oakland Roots. And also on Saturday, it is Memphis hosting Orange County. That Las Vegas-Sacramento matchup, a Friday night affair. All right, that's the West. Now let's look at the East. Charleston Battery, the number 2 seed with the league's single-season scoring record holder, Nick Markanic, will take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Also on Saturday, tonight, we've got Louisville City, the number 1 seed, taking on North Carolina. Detroit, what a story they are this year, leading the way as the 3rd seed. They'll take on Tampa Bay Rowdies. And then a good one as well tomorrow with Indy 11 taking on the Rhode Island team that we talked about, making it in their very first season. Time now for Mauricio's Corner. Today, Mal, we're going to pick the USL Championship playoffs, March Madness style. So get out your brackets and let's pick some winners. This should be fun. And you have some upsets in mind.
Well, I do, Cole. The way the season finished up, you look at teams that snuck their way in, or we talk about what do you need to do in order to get into the playoffs, and you need form. So who's in form and who's not in form? And you got someone like Pittsburgh Riverhounds, North Carolina FC, really on the outside looking in the last couple of weeks of the season. But form is what matters here towards the end. And when everything was so tight, Pittsburgh Riverhounds coming in 7th place, really haven't lost in over 5 games. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think it's going to lead to an interesting playoff period.
All right, let's take a look at the bracket, and we're going to start with the picks in the Western Conference over here on the left. Let's start right at the top with New Mexico United, the #1 seed in the West, taking on the defending champs Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, I'm going with Phoenix Rising, mainly because I think there's going to be a huge upset there. New Mexico not on a good roll. They're not on a good form right now. They've actually, I think they settled. They confirmed playoff a long time ago. And Phoenix Rising continues to do well. And last year they won the league, finishing 5th. It's a little bit lower, but I think they got a championship pedigree in them.
All right, let's take a look at Las Vegas Lights and Sacramento Republic. You really like the way Las Vegas is playing right now.
Yeah, I really do. I think Vegas has a very specific way to the way they play. They make it difficult. However, it's not going to be an easy one. I mean, we're talking about Vegas hosting Sac Republic, a team that was dominant all last year and really dominant in the first part of the season this year. But once again, it's about form, and no one better finishing up the last 10, 50 games of the season than Vegas. So I got them at home, even though they don't have a huge home advantage of a crowd, but they feel pretty confident, and I think they can upset Sac Republic, even though they're the higher seed.
All right, let's put Las Vegas in that next line then, and we'll go to the next game, Memphis and Orange County. Maybe the fewest storylines of any of these first-round matchups in the West.
Yeah, really, 2 teams that kind of been dormant a little bit throughout the season. I think Orange County has come up of late. They were outside looking in. Memphis have been pretty steady, kind of mid-table. But I think Orange County's been a little bit stronger towards the back end of the season. So I give Orange County the nod.
All right, let's put Orange County there in the next line. Then we'll go to Colorado Springs Switchbacks against the Oakland Roots. Colorado Springs kind of been the sneaky good team this year. Haven't had a lot of talk about them, but boy, they really put things together.
Yeah, it's really interesting how a team that's been really so good offensively have somehow snuck into the playoffs as a really high seed. They're about as good as anybody going forward. They're attacking for, can score goals galore. Can they keep goals outside the back of the net? Memphis is a good team, but I think Colorado Switchbacks playing at home, they're going to be a really difficult out.
All right, let's put Colorado Springs there, and we'll go over here to the East and the #1 seed, Lou City, taking on NCFC. Lou City's been good right from the opening day.
Yeah, really easy one here. Opening day, as you mentioned, they've led from the front the whole season. So Lou City going through.
All right, we'll have Lou City going on to the next round. Indy 11 and Rhode Island. This is an intriguing matchup in the first round.
Yeah, not really an easy one to predict. Rhode Island, no one expects them to do as well. They're actually tied in points. It's the goal differential situation that put Indy in front of Rhode Island. But Indy at home, one of the best crowds in the USL Championship, I give Indy the nod.
All right, and I think the story of the year in the Eastern Conference has got to be Detroit as they take on Tampa Bay. What a turnaround from one season to the next for Detroit FC.
Absolutely. I mean, talk about turnaround, talk about atmosphere, a crowd that's going to get into it, and hosting a first-round playoff game. You feel for Tampa, as you mentioned on the game of the week on the highlights. They've been displaced due to the hurricane, so not finishing the season as strong as they have been really most of the season. But thinking about Detroit in November at home, you have to go with Detroit.
All right, let's put Detroit into that next line, and then Charleston Battery and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. You mentioned Pittsburgh's run of form here lately. Charleston's awfully powerful as well.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I think if Pittsburgh was going against any other team outside of Louisville and Battery, I think I give Pittsburgh the nod. But Battery at home, really difficult. Coach has got his team set up really well. So even though Pittsburgh has a good story to end the season, I think it's going to be a short playoff for them, and Battery will go through. All
right, let's play it out the rest of the way then. In the West, you'd have Phoenix Rising, the defending champs, against Las Vegas Lights. Who do you have coming out of that matchup?
I like Vegas. They'll be playing at home. Phoenix Rising, even though I think they're going to upset the #1 seed in New Mexico. New Mexico's not in good form. I don't think they'll get past Vegas. So I think Vegas will go through.
And then Colorado Springs and Orange County in the other conference semifinal.
Yeah, I like teams that score goals, and I think in the playoffs, if you can have a couple difference makers, they'll get you a long way. Defense still wins championships, but goals get you to the championship, and I think Colorado Switchbacks have a lot of goals in them.
All right, now let's put Colorado Springs there in the finals. So Las Vegas against Colorado Springs in the Western Conference Finals. And you're all over Vegas here, aren't you?
I really am. I think Vegas continues to be a surprising team. I think they have a good story to tell. They have a really, really good roster, up and down. They've got some veterans. They've got some new young players. They've drafted well. I think Vegas is a team to beat, and it's going to be interesting playing at home because they don't have a home field advantage compared to the other teams, but they have a really, really good team, and they're difficult to beat. So I take Vegas all the way out to the finals.
All right, let's look at, speaking of home field advantage, you got Louisville City at home. They've always drawn great crowds, very well supported in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Lou City and Indy 11.
Yeah, I mean, probably the best, championship DNA club in the USL Championship. It's Lou City, and the form that they've had, there's really not a whole lot of doubt. I mean, that's where the best money is. That's where the smart money will go. So Lou City against Indy 11. Even though we've seen this matchup before, and it's a wide open game, we saw that early in the season, and Lou City won. But it's not. I think it's gonna be an open game, really entertaining. But Lou City wins.
All right, we'll put Lou City on that next line, and then you've got Detroit City FC and Charleston Battery in the other semifinal, and you have Charleston going through. So a matchup of 1 against 2 in the Eastern Conference Final. Who do you have coming out of the East?
I got Louisville City coming out, even though Nick Marcanic is having an unbelievable season for the Charleston Battery, and you want him to finish because we know he's going to the La Liga 2 club in January. But Lou City, once again, that's just where the money is. That's the smart bet, and I'll go Lou City at home all the way through.
All right, Lou City, top seed, going through to the finals, and it's Lou City against Las Vegas for your finals. Who do you have taking the championship?
I got Vegas, baby. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that Vegas is going to go through. Maybe it's just a fun pick, something a little bit different. I got Lou City. That's a safe bet on the East. Vegas a little bit, a dark horse, even though they finished strong. I think Vegas is going to tell a good story this season and will set the model for a lot of new franchises and how to put a roster together. All
right, thanks very much, Mauricio. We'll catch up again with you here in just a bit. With the conclusion of the regular season, we also got the USL Championship Golden Awards. The Golden Boot went to the record-setting goal scorer Nick Marcanic of the Charleston Battery. Marcanic scored 28 goals in 33 appearances, setting a league record. The Golden Glove went to Pittsburgh's Eric Dick, who recorded 14 clean sheets for the Riverhounds. And then Rhode Island's Noah Fuson took the Golden Playmaker trophy. He tallied 10 assists in Rhode Island's inaugural season. Conference tournaments are here in college soccer. Tomorrow at 5, the UNS women's team hosts a first-round game in the ASUN postseason tournament. JU's women also made the postseason. UNF men secured a spot in the conference tournament as well. We'll be following all the local teams as they try to advance to the regional tournaments. And Sporting Jacks will be at Porch Fest next Saturday, November the 9th. This is one of the great neighborhood events in town. The event takes place in Springfield and features bands, artists, food and drink, and a great chance to mingle with neighbors. We look forward to being a part of the event this year. We invite you to become a member of Sporting Jacks. Just go to sportingjacks.com to sign up. It's absolutely free. Great benefits like discounts on club merchandise, invitations to VIP events, and a chance to put your season ticket deposit down as well. Just go to sportingjacks.com. Coming up, we hear from Becky Burleigh and get her thoughts on what the U.S. women's national team showed this week. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. The national broadcast schedule continues tomorrow night. It is the top seed in the West, Phoenix Rising hosting New Mexico United, an 8 p.m. kickoff on CBS Sports Network to wrap up the first round of the USL Championship playoffs. Time now for USL Super League highlights. Brooklyn hosting Tampa Bay in a midweek affair, opening minutes, and here's a lesson in tenacity. Sydney Nacello gets it, her first shot blocked back to her. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Despite the early goal, Tampa falls 2-1 in Brooklyn. DC Power hosting Lexington. Lexington up 1-0. Allie Flanagan, 18 years old from the academy, making her pro debut, and she makes it a memorable one. Look at those faces. DC Power wins it 2-1 at home. Dallas hosting Carolina in the Cotton Bowl. Ascent up 2-1 in the first half stoppage time. Dallas with a great chance here. First ball is saved, but comes right to Allie Thornton, who hits a rocket. What a strike there, her fourth goal. Dallas and Carolina draw 2-2. Back to Brooklyn for a weekend matchup with the other Florida team, Fort Lauderdale United in town. And off a corner, Mackenzie Pluck gives it to Samantha Kroger, And look at this placement. Upper 90. Brooklyn beats both Florida teams in a week 3-1. The final, this one is unstoppable. The USL Super League standings, Carolina still on top, but level on points with Brooklyn. Carolina has a game in hand, but you notice that both Fort Lauderdale and Dallas have played just 7 matches so far. They have the opportunity to make up some ground as the season progresses. We now welcome in Becky Burleigh. Let's start with the U.S. women's national team, who completed 3 friendlies this week, 2 against Iceland, 1 against Argentina. Becky, what did you learn about the team this past week?
I think we learned we have a lot of young talent and exciting young talent and undiscovered talent. I mean, I didn't even know Emma Sears in the NWSL that much, if I'm being really honest. And so to see players like that emerge because of our pro league, that just really shows you the benefit of having a very competitive domestic pro league.
Also this past week, Emma Hayes won the award for Coach of the Year at the Ballon d'Or. Pretty impressive year for Emma Hayes, to be sure.
Oh yeah, man, how does it get better? I mean, it kind of just keeps getting better. So I don't know how she keeps topping herself, but for sure, really well deserved. When you can do it at the club and country level, you're something special. And more than anything, what I've loved about watching Emma is not just her tactical acumen, but also her willingness and ability to just mesh the culture. She's done such a great job of that.
And there were 5 American women as candidates for the award. Megan Rapinoe last won it in 2019. So who's the most likely next American woman to win the Ballon d'Or?
First of all, isn't it crazy that it's been that long since we've had an American winner, especially with the personalities and players that we've had. But to be fair, the rest of the world has some great, great players too. But I think the question of who's going to win it next is a fascinating one, because you just don't know. It's unusual that defensive players get mentioned in the Ballon d'Or, but, this year it did on the men's side for sure. But I think somebody like Naomi Girma steps up for me because of her game-changing role on this team. It's not just her play, but it's her composure. It's her ability to just bring such an evenness to this team. She's a great de-escalator. It doesn't matter if you're playing the biggest game of the year or if you're playing a friendly, she's the same in every situation. And I hope somebody like her really gets a good look.
Yeah, she's been terrific, no doubt. All right, now to the USL Super League, where we saw 3 set-piece goals in 4 games last week. That's a pretty high rate. What are you seeing on set pieces in the league?
I think set pieces are more and more important to the modern game. I mean, we see it at every level. And it's not just being able to finish set pieces, but it's also defending set pieces. It's just an integral part of the game at this point. So it's no surprise to me that the USL has stepped up in that area too. And, at some levels you see like set piece specialists, and not only as a player, but as a coach. And so I think it's going to be something that's going to continue to impact the standings in this league.
Becky, thanks so much. Hey, it's not too early to become a season ticket member of Sporting Jacks. Just go to sportingjacks.com and put your deposit down. $25 reserves your space for the men's or women's teams. And if you want to reserve spots for both, it's just $40. Go to sportingjacks.com to save your seat for pro soccer in Jacksonville. Still to come, our youth soccer spotlight. We hear from one of the local high school teams trying to defend a state championship. That's next as the Sporting Jacks report rolls on. Sporting Jacks will be unveiling the official kit in the months to come, but you can already get your official Sporting Jacks merchandise, from t-shirts and hats to sweatshirts and, of course, the scarf. Find Sporting Jacks official merchandise at sportingjacks.com, at our official team store on Phillips Highway, and at We Got Soccer. Time now for our youth soccer spotlight, brought to you by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. And this week we're hearing from 2 members of the defending state champion Ponte Vedra girls soccer team. Last season, the Sharks were nearly perfect, a 21-1-1 record with only a draw against St. John's Country Day and a 1-0 loss to Orlando Edgewood, blemishing the schedule. In the postseason, Ponte Vedra conceded only 2 goals and won the state finals 3-1 over Eastlake. We spoke with forward Jenny Deary and defender Natalie McCann at the media day, and they are expecting more of the same this season.
I mean, coming back from winning states last year, I expect us to do the same. I don't think, yes, we lost 9 seniors. Yes, they were a big part of our team, but we have so much depth on our team and our players are so talented that I think we can definitely do it again this year.
Yeah, and I think we're held to a high expectation every day, and I feel like we know that, but we also like implement into our training just high standards so we can just improve every day.
Last year, you know, we went, I think, 22-1-1 or 23-1-1, so we're always looking for more. We're hungry for going undefeated this year, possibly no ties. That'd be amazing. We're just always looking for getting better. PV is very rich with traditions, especially on the soccer team, especially the girls' side. So using those traditions to kind of bond with the team, through that you kind of like teach them like, yeah, we can all be friends, but listen to us. Like, we tell them what's expected of them. They know what to do, and it's kind of a respect thing. They'll get the job done because they know they need to. So it's not really a what if, it's they'll do it.
The Sharks open the season on Tuesday at Stanton, and no surprise, they should be one of the best teams in the state again this season. Hey, be sure to join us every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010 XL for the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. That's on the AM side, 1010 AM. You can also listen online or on demand at 1010XL.com. Still to come, we look ahead to the Premier League action this weekend. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. You can watch the Sporting Jacks Report every Saturday before the start of Premier League broadcast on NBC 12. You can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. Coming up in just minutes, it's Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Finally got a win last week, did Palace, beating Spurs 1-0. Wolves are still looking for a win. One of 3 winless teams remaining in the Premier League. Mauricio, both these sides should have a sense of desperation today.
Yeah, they really should, Cole. The separation's starting to happen more and more as you kind of get, double-digit games into the season. You start seeing the teams at the top and the ones that are fighting at the bottom. So those 2 teams, they got to get themselves out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We are about a quarter of the way through the season, so there is plenty to play for, and just getting that first win goes a long way for these clubs.
Well, it does. You got to get some momentum going for you. I think Wolves actually haven't been playing that bad necessarily. They just haven't gotten the wins, on their side. So getting that first one, you hope that you're going to get more and more. We saw them here in Jacksonville. They're a good team. So if they can get one under the belt, maybe it will roll into more.
All right, Mauricio, thanks so much. Reminder to join us on social media. Here's where you can follow Sporting Jacks on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. Thanks so much for joining us. For Mauricio Ruiz and Becky Burleigh, I'm Cole Pepper. We'll talk to you next week right here on the Sporting Jacks Report.